The ollie, the goal of most beginner skaters and probably the hardest trick a beginner will ever try to master.
Over the summer, I worked really hard to improve my ollie and was able to get some pretty decent results, but it took a lot of trial and error and a lot of time and energy.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to go over 8 mistakes that beginners tend to make and hopefully give some useful methods and advice to fix them. But first, what is a good ollie? Now, my ollie is not perfect. It's not as high or beautiful as it can be and hopefully one day will be, but I found this awesome way to measure how good my ollie is and how much my ollie has progressed. And that is
how close the height of my trucks are at their tallest peak. The closer the peaks of my trucks, the better and more leveled out my ollie is. I want the back truck to be coming up as high or even higher than my front truck.
The first mistake is poor foot positioning. Now, a lot of new skaters will try to ollie with their feet much too close together. And that makes it much harder to balance, but also much harder to land bolts. And I think that the reason this has become such a common problem is that a lot of beginner skaters will start to get a little ollie where their back trucks do come off the ground, and then they want to figure out how to ollie higher. So they'll look up how to ollie higher, and what is the suggestion? To move your foot back and to put it more towards the middle of the board instead of near the bolts. But the thing is, this only works if you already know how to level out your ollie. If you cannot level out your ollie, this will just make it harder.
Most beginners have a low ollie because they aren't leveling out the board. Take a look at pros having a little session at a skate park, and you might notice that their feet are often right by the bolts when ollieing. That's simply because there's no need to ollie crazy high. They know they can make the obstacle if they just level out the board. So I suggest putting your feet just like this. This is a good beginner stance. If it feels uncomfortable, feel free to move your feet around a little bit, but otherwise, I really suggest trying to learn a nice little clean ollie right here. And then you can experiment with moving your foot back or forward once you really start to get down the mechanics.
The second problem is regarding pop. Pinching the board to the ground or getting ghost pop is a big hurdle that most beginner skaters need to overcome.
Some new skaters don't realize that your foot should not touch the ground when you ollie. You really need to be jumping without that foot touching the ground. What normally happens is new skaters jump off the ground, or they jump too hard and end up pinching the skateboard to the ground. Another common problem is ghost pop, where you pop the board, but the tail doesn't actually touch the ground. In this case, you might need to pop harder, or you might be popping at too much of an angle. If you want the board to pop up, you need that force to be going relatively straight down. I'm a huge fan of practicing the pop while standing still. Just pop the board up and grab it while pulling your knee up. Then catch the bolts as you drop the board back down. It will keep your foot from touching the ground, remind you to pop straight down, and help you build up some good pop muscles without all the jumping. When you feel good popping it, you can add a caveman just to make it more fun and to practice jumping back on your board.
Timing is another big problem that beginner skaters run into. And I know that the ollie is technically one fluid motion, but to me, the ollie is two distinct motions. And telling myself this and visualizing this has really helped me improve my timing.
So the first half of an ollie is when you jump up, bring your knee up, and turn your ankle in. The second half of the ollie is where you kick the front foot out to grab the nose and push it forward while bringing up the back knee. Although technically slamming those feet onto the bolts could be the third part, gravity will help you in the beginning while you're starting to get the feel of what catching the board feels like.
So, immediate review. You can think of the ollie's timing like a heartbeat. One beat has two distinct moments. That is the timing of an ollie, in my mind. So really think about that and visualize it in your head as that bubba motion, and hopefully thinking of the ollie's timing like this will help you as much as it helped me. The fourth problem. Not pushing the nose of the skateboard forward is the same as not leveling out your ollie. And I think because most tutorials really emphasize your foot sliding up the grip tape, a lot of new skateboarders are deprived of the fact that that does not level out your ollie. That motion going up the board gives you the power to push the nose forward. It's absolutely necessary, it's critical, but it's not the part that actually levels out the skateboard.
I recommend a few things for this. First of all, think timing. On that second heartbeat, you really want to push the nose forward. Also, when you practice the drag, push your nose forward and make your board vibrate a little bit. Practicing the full extension here helped me to get my foot to go out instead of just coming up. Also, strangely enough, just stretching my knee and allowing it to swing past the nose worked really well. It looks silly, but it's surprisingly helpful.
The fifth problem is actually leaning in any direction. Leaning too far forward or backwards, too far to the side. It's going to make ollieing a lot harder. So if you're doing an ollie and realize that you're falling backwards and the ollie's going in front of you, try to focus on your body weight. If your body weight is not centered, then you're going to have a harder time ollieing and a harder time landing.
Hippie jumps on and off of your board, and then up and down. I think they are a perfect warm-up for this because you have to be perfectly centered to do them well. Do a few of these, or even do just a good knee tuck jump to focus on jumping straight up.
The sixth problem is not bringing your knees up when you jump. It's a different problem with pretty much the same advice. You need to jump. Hippie jumps, cavemen, knee tuck jumps, all of these will greatly help you work on just bringing that back leg up. And maybe your front leg. The ollie is a jump after all, so jumping even off the skateboard is going to help you and give you that muscle memory of bringing your knees up.
Trying to ollie too soon or only trying to ollie is the seventh problem. Ollieing is hard. It is so ridiculously hard. Now, you can learn to shove it in a session or a few weeks if you really try hard, but ollies take months. It often takes skaters a year or more, depending on how much they skate, to get a decent ollie. So trying to ollie too soon, or only ollieing during your sessions, can leave you super tired and unmotivated. There are so many other tricks out there that don't require an ollie. So learn other tricks, lots of other tricks. They will improve your board control, give you lots of skating practice, and improve your strength and comfort. Basically, every other trick you learn will make learning the ollie easier. If you really want to learn the ollie right away, That's fine too. I understand the desire to ollie. But please don't just learn to ollie. Learn other tricks so that your session is diverse and full of fun and excitement and not frustrating.
The 8th and last mistake that I see a lot of beginners make is starting their sessions with ollie practice, or even just trying the ollie too early in the session. Now, I don't know about other skaters, but my ollie looks the worst in the beginning of my session. I'm not warm, my muscles aren't really ready and awake yet, and I'm not in a super good mood from landing all my warm-up tricks and all the other tricks that I did first. So
if you want to ollie, save it for the middle. Get a good warm-up, do some other fun tricks that don't require an ollie, and then attack the ollie when you're nice and warm and in a state of flow from getting those other tricks. You won't be too tired yet, and your body will probably be more willing to listen to you.
And that's it. 8 common mistakes that a lot of beginners make when trying to learn how to ollie. But before I end this video, I just want to leave you with 4 more little pieces of advice that might help you on your ollieing journey.
1. I'd like to emphasize learning other tricks once more because it will help, I promise. 2. Consider this suggestion. Don't dedicate more than 30% of your session to an ollie as a beginner. You will learn to ollie faster with the help of the other 70% of your session. 3. Record your ollie and try to see what issue might be affecting yours in particular. But it's also nice to keep track of them so you can see your ollie progress. It might not progress over days, but it definitely will over weeks and months. 4. Try to break it down with my 5-step method. Build up the basics of all the movements, and then work on getting the ollie down again.
To review, ollieing is freaking hard, but you can definitely do it. So don't feel rushed, just have fun and enjoy the process. As always, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you gained something from watching it, and I hope to see you next week.